What's up, everybody? It's the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video. And in this video, we're going to talk about this lawsuit that AMC filed versus Chubb Custom Insurance Company. All right, they filed that on March 15, 2022 in New York. Now, I'm talking specifically to Al from Boston and Uncle Frank and their crew of DD people. Now, I don't have the means to find this case. I'm over here now with what I can get on Bloomberg Law concerning the case, and it just keeps circling and circling and circling. I can go check another case in Bloomberg Law, and it'll pop right up, but this particular case wouldn't, so I need some help researching this case. We have to prove that AMC Entertainment received any and all money related to COVID, all right? Because this lawsuit states that AMC filed a lawsuit against the insurance company seeking coverage for losses related to the COVID pandemic, all right? And I've been doing some research on this, and basically you're going to find out it's called loss insurance. Watch this. Anyway, after I found this out, I went on down with Jenny and I asked her, where can I find the case summary for this case? And that's where she referred me to Bloomberg Law and stuff, but it won't load. So then I asked Jenny, I said, okay, AMC Entertainment Holdings just settled another lawsuit saying the company was in imminent danger of bankruptcy, and their argument was that they did what they did under the business protection rule in Delaware. I need to write a letter to Judge Zern and inform her that the defendants once again have misled the court, that imminent bankruptcy was a facade because they received a settlement from their insurance companies for loss insurance during the pandemic, and explain what loss insurance is and research and quote AMC Entertainment Holdings versus Chubb. All right, and she says that I found it. Do I want to see if she can find a quote, all right, to put in there? And I said, absolutely. And she said, all right. She apologized because she couldn't find a quote. It's probably behind a paywall, or she had the same difficulty I am going over there and it's just circling. But anyway, she said, can I draft a letter to Judge Zern for you? All right. And I said, absolutely, let's get started. So she wrote the letter, and there it is. All right. I ain't going to take time to read it because we went another step, me and Jenny. I said, can the judge stop the settlement from proceeding even if she has signed the order approving it? And Jenny's got to make sure that I know that she's not a lawyer, but in general, once a judge has signed an order approving a settlement, it typically becomes the final and binding on the parties involved. However, there are a few potential scenarios in which a settlement might be revisited. And she gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The one I want to focus on is fraud and misrepresentation. If it can be proven that the settlement was based on fraud, misrepresentation, or some other form of misconduct, the court might have grounds to set aside or modify the settlement. Okay? So then I said, all right. You said a party can file a motion if fraud or misrepresentation, if it can be proven that the settlement was based on fraud, misrepresentation, or some other form of misconduct, the court might have grounds to set aside or modify the settlement. Turn the letter that you just wrote, the one I said I didn't want to take the time to read, turn that letter to the judge into a motion to the court, and use fraud and misrepresentation as the grounds to revisit the settlement, or at the least put the status quo order back in place until an appeal to the Supreme Court, Delaware Supreme Court, can be heard. And she says, certainly, master, I'm on the job. And she wrote the motion that we need to file into court for the judge to stop the settlement from going through again, putting the status quo again and investigating AMC purposely lied to the court. Now it goes on to say, to the Honorable Judge Zern, whoever, I suggest Uncle Frank. I believe Uncle Frank has standing in the court already, and Uncle Frank would be a good person to file this motion for us. Hereby submit this motion to the court based on the grounds of fraud and misrepresentation concerning the recently approved settlement in the above referenced case. Background: AMC Entertainment Holdings recently settled a lawsuit you could put in your court in which they claimed an imminent threat of bankruptcy. This court approved the settlement based on the representations made by the parties involved. Part 2. Fraud and misrepresentation. It has come to our attention that AMC Entertainment Holdings received a settlement from their insurance companies under loss insurance during the pandemic, related to a case titled AMC Entertainment Holdings versus Chubb Custom Insurance Company, with the citation, there it is, from the Delaware Superior Court. This significant financial relief contradicts the representation of imminent bankruptcy presented to the court. Now, before I go on, listen, this is what we need, people. Mr. Al, Mr. Frank, and your team, you need to confirm this lawsuit. Now, I've tried to do it with the means I have, and I can't because it's just not working, all right? But y'all can. And if we can prove that AMC received settlement money from insurance companies during the pandemic for loss insurance that they were paying premiums on, then we can stop them, because they should not have been claiming imminent bankruptcy if they had gotten money from insurance companies. This fraud and misrepresented the court, and it says here, as we go on, request to the court. Based on the above, I respectfully request the court to reconsider the approved settlement based on the grounds of fraud and misrepresentation, reinstate the status quo order until a thorough review can be conducted, allow for appeal to the Delaware Supreme Court if necessary. Conclusion: the integrity of the judicial process relies on the truthful and transparent representation of facts by all parties involved. Given the new evidence suggesting potential misrepresentation, you could say, to the financial whatever of AMC, it is in the interest of justice to revisit the approved settlement that was based on fraud. Respectfully submitted, Uncle Frank. If we could prove that they took money from insurance companies for loss insurance, we need to know right now. We got 1 day to prove it. 1 day. So let's get on it, people. Let's work together. Let's get this. If they did, do you realize the trouble Adam Aron's fixing to be in for not reporting that to the judge? And I'll see you in the next video. Love y'all. Be blessed.